What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about how to identify imbalance. Imbalance is really a simple concept. It is very easy to identify, especially if you are trading with smart money strategy. So I'm going to show you how to identify imbalance with these examples on my screen right now, and after that I will show you a live example on the price charts. Imbalance in the forex market is simply inefficiency between buyers and sellers. So what do I mean by that? What can you see from here? What you can see from here is that price moves down aggressively, and when price moves down aggressively, another thing you need to identify from here is that the wicks of this candle, you can see when you count these three candles, 1 2 3, what you can see is that the wick of this first candle and the third candle, they didn't meet. I hope you can see what I'm trying to explain. You can see that there is a gap between these two candles, and this gap right here is what we call imbalance. I hope you're seeing what I'm trying to explain right there. The gap between these candles is what we call imbalance, and you can equally see it right here. You can see this gap right here, here and here. When you count 1 2 and 3, you can see that the gap right here is what we call our imbalance. It shows that the market is inefficient. I hope you can see that the imbalance is located right here. So this is the easiest way to identify imbalance. So when you look at an efficient price action, when we count this as our first, this as our second, and this as our third candle, you can see that the wicks of the first and the third candle, it's met at some point, and this tells you that this price action right here is efficient and there is no imbalance, there is no gap. From what we see here, you can see that we have a gap right here, but when you look at this place, you can see that there is no gap. When you look at here, you can see there is no gap. The wicks of these candles are meeting, and you can see that price is balanced at these levels. Why there is an imbalance at this level? Because there is a space. So this is the simplest way to identify imbalance, and we move to the price chart right now. Let me show you some of these examples, and I hope you will have a better understanding of what imbalance is. So let's move to the price chart right now. Now I'll be using this chart to show you a live example of what imbalance looks like. And one thing I didn't point out when I was explaining initially is that once price leaves an imbalance, it will always come back to fill the imbalance. What do I mean? Let's say price left an imbalance right here. At some point you will see price returning back to fill that imbalance. We don't know how long it will take price to return back to the imbalance. Just like when you map out your demand zone, we don't know how long it will take price to return back to those zone, but what we know is that price will actually come back to mitigate that zone. So that is how it is when you look at imbalance that way. So from here, what can we see from here? You can actually see that price moved aggressively and it left this imbalance right here. You can see initially here was the imbalance, price left, and you can see price came back to fill the imbalance. I hope you can see that clearly. So I'll play price forward. Let's see more of those examples. And what else can you see from here? So moving from there, you can see that price left an imbalance right here. Although the imbalance wasn't too large, it was a little imbalance, but you can see moving forward, price left another imbalance. When you add this to your trading strategy, that is trading into supply and demand zones, you will know the need that price will always come back to fill those imbalance. So price left the imbalance, and pressing price forward, what do we see? Price came back, filled this imbalance. This particular imbalance was filled, and what do we see? Price came lower to fill this particular imbalance right here. I hope you can see what happened right there. Okay, so let's move forward. Price moved lower, and you can see that we have another imbalance right here. I hope what I'm showing you is very clear. Hope you are seeing very clearly. Price left an imbalance right there. Price has now filled 50%, almost 50% of the imbalance, and you can see it has been filled fully now. I hope you can see that. So let's continue to play price forward. Okay, so what can you see from here again? You can see that price left another little imbalance right here. Like I said, price will always come back to fill imbalance. Sometimes it might not fill it immediately, like the examples you are seeing right here. You can see price is filling imbalance immediately, but in some cases price might take a longer time to come back to fill that imbalance. You can see price hasn't really filled this imbalance right here. So let's continue to play price further. You can see now price has filled this imbalance. So this is really a simple concept, and I don't want this video to take longer time. Okay, so you can clearly see that price now left a smaller imbalance right here. Like I said, price will always come back to fill imbalance. This is very tiny. You can see that there's a very little imbalance right there, and no matter how small the imbalance is, price will definitely come back to fill the imbalance. And what can you see? Price filled the imbalance, and what you can see, price haven't really left any imbalance, and now we have a rapid move to the upside. And let's see, you can see price now left an imbalance right here. I hope you can clearly see that price left an imbalance right there, and we'll be waiting for price to fill it, and price filled the imbalance immediately. And what can you see here? Price left another imbalance right here. You can clearly see that price left this imbalance, and what's our expectation? Our expectation is that price will definitely come back to fill the imbalance, and you can see price continue to shoot up. I hope you can clearly see that, and believe me, there is imbalance right here, and we know that price will come back to fill them. And you can see price has now filled some of the imbalance, and we continue to look to see how price fills it. And you can see now the imbalance, this particular imbalance has been filled. And you can see price failed to return to fill this imbalance right here. Hope you can see that clearly. You can see price just filled that imbalance. And if you look at this from supply and demand perspective, you can see that here looks like a very good demand zone which price can react off from. Here looks like a good demand zone. Maybe you can decide to include this candle because it doesn't have any momentum. So let's say this imbalance has been filled, this particular imbalance has been filled, and let's see how price reacts. You see price comes lower, and now you can see price starts shooting up, leaving this imbalance right here. You can see price respected the demand zone. This is the strategy I trade, and I enjoy trading the strategy. You can see this particular demand zone, price taps into the demand zone, and it filled the imbalance, taps into the demand zone, and it's now shooting up. And you can see it, price left an imbalance, and the imbalance is not filled yet. And if I'm in this trade, I have the expectation that price will surely come back to fill this imbalance. So imbalance can still help you know how to manage your trades. I hope that is clear. Okay, let's continue to move forward and see. And you can see price is coming lower. Let's see if it will fill the imbalance, and you see price moving higher. You see price moving higher without filling that particular imbalance. But one thing we know is that in the future price will come back to fill the imbalance. Like I said before, we don't know how long it's going to take for price to fill the imbalance, but one thing we know is that price will surely fill the imbalance. And this particular imbalance that was built right here, you can see price filled it, but it didn't fill it 100%. So price will surely come back to fill it. So let's continue pressing price forward. What can you see? Price left more imbalance here that needs to be filled. So this is really a simple concept. From what you can see here, you already understand what imbalance is, and I know that if you move to your price chart right now, you can be able to identify what imbalance is and use it as one of the tools while trading your supply and demand zones. Okay, so this imbalance has been filled, and we still have an expectation that price will surely come back to fill these two imbalance that is resting below here. So let's continue to press price forward, and you can see price left another imbalance right here. And from what I'm seeing right here, I can see price building liquidity. I hope you understand what liquidity is all about. So when you look at here, you can see price is building a lot of liquidity down here, and if I want to take this trade, here can be my zone, here could be my zone. I can take this as my demand zone, and I will still expect price to come back to fill the zone. Price will come back to mitigate this zone, because from what I'm seeing right here, this is a high probability setup. Why is it a high probability setup? We have imbalance resting before the zone, and liquidity is still resting above. So we got a break of structure right here. You can see it clearly. So this is a high probability setup for me. So let me round up the video with this. Let's wait for price to come back and see if we can take a trade from there. And you can see price filled this particular imbalance. You can see, and we still have imbalance that needs to be filled right here. So let's continue to press price forward, and what can you see? Price continues to shoot up. One thing we know is that price will definitely come back to fill the imbalance. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Okay, let's continue to press price forward, and you can see price is returning back, and now it has filled the imbalance. So this is really a simple concept you can add to your trading strategy. Very simple concept, and I'm actually waiting for price to come back to this zone so I can end this video. I skipped it. So you You can see price is now returning back to our zone, and what can we see? Price left an imbalance right here. This is very clear, and we know that price will surely fill in the imbalance. So what can we see from here? Price filled this particular imbalance right here, and it filled this imbalance sitting right here. You can see it that after taking so much time, price actually came back to fill this imbalance. So you can see that it has been filled. Like I said, we don't know how long it's going to take for price to return back and fill the imbalance. So measuring how long it took for price to return to fill this particular imbalance, you can see that it took price how many days? 87 days to return back and fill the imbalance. So like I said, price will always come back to fill imbalance. So what can we see? When you shift this, you can clearly see that price filled this imbalance. It filled the imbalance that came from here. When it filled it, it tapped into our zone, and we can see that we already have a reaction. Let's see how far price can move from there. And you can see price went higher and filled this imbalance. You can see we are already in profits. You can clearly see that we are already in profit, and price filled this particular imbalance. When price filled this imbalance, what can you see? We have another imbalance resting right here. I hope you can see that. And now we are already in a profit. Like I said, this is a high probability setup because we have our zone, a good zone. Imbalance is resting here. We have liquidity right here. We got a good break of structure, and you can see price returns and is reacting massively. But I hope this explains imbalance well, and you can see the imbalance that price left here. Price has returned to fill it. So measuring this move from here to here, you can see we already got 224 pips. So trading this way will always put you at the right side of the market. So I believe this video was helpful. So if you found this video very helpful, drop a comment, drop a like, and consider subscribing to our channel. This is still me, Solomon Wisdom, aka Born to Trade, and it was nice having you today. Thank you.